Hello student, myself Shubhrata Majumdar. I will give you a presentation on behalf of ECE Department Basic Electronics Lab for BTech undergraduate program, and this presentation is common for all the stream. As you know, in the first year ECE Electrical, CSE, IT, Mechanical and Civil. So this is for the first year and first sem. Now let's see the contents for today's presentation. Today I will give you a presentation on experiment 5A under the basic laboratory. It is the topic of study of half-wave rectification with the regulation and ripple factor, and here you may find the objective also regarding the experiment and name of the platform, simulation platform where we simulate this experiment, or any virtual components equipment, and some few theoretical backgrounds required for conducting this experiment as well, and familiarization with simulation software or virtual lab platform whichever used, and lastly followed by a video demonstration on wave simulation. So our today's experiment number is 5A, because under this experiment number 5 we have the entire rectifier experiment. So we have divided into two part. Our today's topic is half-wave rectifier, so it is 5A, and then next we'll go through the full wave rectifier where it will be a 5B number experiment. So first let's see the objectives. So at the end of the module you should be able to explain the rectification as an application of PN junction diode, explain half-wave rectification, and number 3 explain half-wave rectification for a positive half cycle, and number 4 explain half-wave rectification for a negative half cycle as well. So now name of the simulation platform and necessary virtual components and equipment. For our today's experiment, herewith we have used a wave-based simulation. The wave is available on this below link, that is vlab.iitkgp.ac.in/be/experiment6/index.html, and then along with a hands-on video on this simulation page I will add it over here. First, to do the simulation you need to copy this URL. You need to copy this URL from here to any of your browser, but the browser should be updated in a latest version and also embedded with the latest JavaScript, because this web page is made on a JavaScript. And follow this below procedures. First you have to set the load register over there and click on the start button. Then number 3, click on sine wave button and generate the input waveform for your rectifier, and click on oscilloscope button to get the rectified output. Vary the amplitude and frequency if necessary, volt per division using the controllers to operate the oscilloscope. And number 6, click on dual button to observe the both waveform at a time. That means input and output, if you want to see at a time in the oscilloscope screen, you will able to see it. Number 7, where your channel 1 is already configured to the input waveform, and accordingly channel 2 is shows output rectified waveform. And number 8, calculate the practical ripple factor where the theoretical value is 1.21. So we have to verify that our practical ripple factor and theoretical ripple factor should be same, maybe same or not. So all this procedure I will again repeat when I do the simulation, real-time simulation at the website. So don't worry about it, I will guide you every time when you require to do it. Now we have to know the theoretical background for conducting this experiment. Why the rectification is required? First we have to know this. To build this kind of DC power supply, we need to learn about the rectifier, and that is the first step of the learning of rectifier is half wave rectifier. This is your rectifier block. You may be familiar with this kind of DC power supply to your daily uses in home. In every electronics gadget needs this kind of DC power supply, low voltage DC power supply, where we can convert our AC to 30 volt to 5 volt, 12 volt, 3 volt. This kind of low DC volt we have to generate with this power supply or adapter, and inside this adapter there will be a very efficient and important block is rectifier. So our today's lab on this rectifier. So what it is, a rectifier is a device that contains or converts alternating current to a direct current, a process known as rectification. Rectifiers are essentially two types, half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier. So today we will only concentrate on half wave rectifier. Now we'll see a block diagram of a half wave rectifier, where you can see this is a block of a half wave rectifier where a sinusoidal AC waveform has to be injected, and then after you will get this kind of pulsating DC output, or you can say only the positive portion of the sinusoidal waveform will be available at the output. So at the conclusion, on the positive cycle the diode is forward biased, and on the negative cycle the diode is reverse biased. So by using a diode we have converted the AC source into a pulsating DC source. In summary, this will be called as rectified DC signal, because it is nothing like as DC, pure DC, but it still has still doesn't have the negative part also, but in this positive half you can assume it's also is a AC signal. Okay, so this phenomenon is called rippled DC. Okay, later we will know. Now this is a sketch of a half wave rectifier, general sketch, where a diode, PN junction diode, can be connected in series with a voltage source through a load resistance. A simple kind of rectifier circuit is half wave rectifier. The half wave rectifier is a circuit that allows only a part of input signal to pass. Okay, the circuit is simply a combination of single diode in series with a resistor, where the resistor acting as a load. This is a load. Now we will see the half wave rectifier waveforms, how it's look like when before input and how it's look like after the output from a rectifier. This is your input signal which have to be get injected in the rectifier, and after rectification it will looks like this. That means this is a output from your rectifier. So the output DC voltage of a half wave rectifier can be calculated with the following two ideal equations, where V peak is equal to Vrms into root 2 and Vrms is equal to V peak by pi. This is your V peak. This is your V peak from here to here. This part is your V peak. Okay, so the DC voltage from here we will get in this manner, Vrms into root 2. Now the half wave rectification for positive half cycle, the block diagram, this is the block diagram for positive half cycles, where only positive half cycles are come into the part, and now followed by a detailed circuit diagram of a half wave rectifier. Basically, if this is your household power line, then it will be a very large it has been a very large amplitude. So first you will make this high potential to a step pass through a step down transformer, then this output of this transformer connected to a half wave rectifier diode and followed by a load in series with a load. So this is your high potential AC input signal, and after that step down it will be further going to the rectifier. After the rectification across this load, this signal will be available. So before transformer this will your Vmax, and after putting it the transformer, this is your Vmax, which will be available across the VL. Okay, or you can say it Imax, because V and I all are measured by across this resistance, so we can assume both as the same. So in later we will see a part is called VDC or V average. This part in this total rippled output, this below part is your VDC or called V average. Okay, and this is your total V out or VL max. Now what it said, that diode is forward biased, act as a short circuit and passes through the waveform through the diode. Okay, when it is forward bias at the positive cycle, diode is forward bias, then it passes through the diode and act, in that case from here to here diode act as a short circuit. So that's why diode pass through all the waveform at the output. So for an ideal diode where VV means voltage of the diode barrier voltage, VV, where in an ideal diode we will know already in the VI characteristics that VV in an ideal diode VV will be 0. So in that case in positive half, so we can say V out is equal to V in. Okay, but practically in a silicon diode there will be a VV of 0.7 like that, 0.6 or 0.7. So in that case, in a typical diode, practically in a typical diode, V out is equal to V input minus VV. So if we apply a KVL at the closed loop circuit of a positive half cycle, then we get V input minus VB minus I into RD minus I into R is equal to 0. So where Vi is the input voltage of the rectifier. Okay, Vb we already know that barrier voltage, barrier potential, which has been already mentioned by the manufacturer of the diode. That means this is a constant as per your diode chosen. This Vb is constant. Okay, and RD, what is RD? This is a forward resistance of the diode. That means this resistance has dynamically changed according to the Vi. As you increase the Vi, your diode resistance will change across in a certain load. This R is your load. So as the resistance has been changed dynamically, so current through the diode also will change. So this part is the actual drop voltage up to where diode can withstand in a particular input voltage and with a certain load. And this IR is the nothing but the voltage across load RL. Okay, so I is the total current of the circuit. Okay, both the I is the total current of the circuit and R is the load resistance, whatever I told you already. So then we can write V out is equal to V input minus VB divided by RD plus R into R. So if we assume RD is lesser than R, that means your in respect to your load resistance is RD is very much lower, then we can neglect this RD and R will be cancel out, both the R will be cancel out. So you can say V out is equal to V input minus VB, where in the both the cases where germanium for VB for germanium diode is 0.3 volt and for silicon diode VB is 0.7 volt. Okay, so when the diode will be the on state when V input is greater than VB, then we can say diode is on, and when V input less than VB, we can assume that diode is off. So in that case V out is 0, and when diode is on, in that case your V out is equal to input voltage minus barrier voltage for the particular type of diode. So this is a half wave rectification block for negative half cycle, and this is the block. Your rectifier block is same, but input signal in a negative half. So in that half diode will be kept off, remain off, so no output will be available at the load. So in that case called, the diode is reverse bias and act as a open circuit and does not pass the waveform through it. So as a result V out is equal to 0, since there is no current, I is equal to 0. Let's go to the next slide, where we can find some conclusive voltage equations in form of average output voltage or say DC approximation voltage. It will be obtained in two way, or later it's say for two instants. First, when V out is equal to Vm into sine omega t, for the instance when omega t greater than equals to 0 or less than equals to pi. This instant can happen when the positive half cycle come into interact with the rectifier, and the second instant when the V out is equal to 0 for this instant when your omega t greater than equals to pi and less than equals to 2 pi. That means this session is the negative half cycle, when the negative half cycles come into feed into the rectifier block. So therefore we will get V average equals to Vm by pi, or you can say 0.318 factor will be multiplied with the Vm, and we also obtain the RMS load voltage, that is Vrms equals to Irms into R equals to Vm by 2. Now next, it is the RMS load voltage, which will be obtained by Vrms equals to Irms into R, or you can say Vm by 2. In the next slide we will find as well as the current equations for a half wave rectifier by obtaining the average load current, which will be denoted by I average, and express in an equation where Vm will be divided by pi into R, or you can say Im by pi, and another one is the RMS load current, same as RMS load voltage. It will be IRMS equals to Im by 2. Now let's find the another two important factor for a half wave rectifier, or you can say in any kind of rectifier. It is form factor and ripple factor, and these two are actually in quality and concern of the rectifier. These two factor can define the quality of your rectifier. First, let's see the form factor. What it is? It is defined as the ratio of RMS load voltage and average load voltage. So we can find this form factor in this manner by dividing the Vrms by V average. Let's turn on the laser. Yes, by Vrms we can find this form factor with this form, dividing the Vrms by V average, and then we will get a factor of 1.57. So by this equation we can conclude that for a half wave rectifier, practically the form factor always will be greater than or equals to 1. So it will be remain same as RMS greater than equals to average voltage. And what is the ripple factor? Ripple factor is a measurement of effectiveness of a rectifier circuit. As I already told you, it is a quality measurement. So it is the effectiveness of a rectifier circuit and defined as a ratio of RMS value of the AC component, that means VAC, that means the RMS value of the ripple component available at the output, to the DC component in the rectifier output. So in the first slide, beginning of the slide, I already show you what is the bottom part of the output called DC average output, and the ripple at the ripple where RMS value of the ripple is called VAC. So ratio of these two basically your ripple factor here. So ripple factor in a half wave rectifier is defined by gamma, definited by gamma. It will be find as VAC by VDC, which will be again come in a factor form by 1.21, or you can say as a percentage by multiplying by 100%. So you will get the 1.21%. Now see the another properties called efficiency. This is a properties again related to the quality. So what it is? It's defined as the ratio of DC power. It is related to the power efficiency, that means it is related to the power. It is defined as a ratio of DC power available at the load to the input AC power. That means how much power you consume at the input of the rectifier, and in that respect how much power it will deliver to your load. So it will defined as a theta percentage defined by P load, power at load, divided by power of input, power consumed input. So finally again we will get this factor as a constant value for a half wave rectifier, which will be ideally 40.56, and after multiplying by 100% it will come at percentage form. But this condition is very crucial in this case. It will truth when your RD is very negligible in respect of RL. Okay, then only this efficiency can achieved. Now, how to choose a peak inverse voltage PIV properties of your rectifier. For a rectifier application, peak inverse voltage PIV or peak reverse voltage PRV, both are the same, is the maximum value of reverse voltage for a specific diode can withstand. That means your rectifier diode not only working in positive half, it's still working at negative half, because in positive half it will pass through the signal component, but in negative half, when the negative sinusoidal waveform placed at the rectifier input, it should resist this entire negative part, or it should block the entire negative part to the output. So how many negative polarity, negative potential it can tolerate, this is the parameter of to measure these properties, PIV, called PIV. So already I told you, here it is, the portion of the sinusoidal waveform which repeats or duplicates itself is known as a cycle. The part of the cycle above the horizontal axis is called positive half cycle, and the part of the cycle below the horizontal axis is called negative half cycle. So with the reference to the amplitude of the cycle, the peak inverse voltage is specified as the maximum negative value of the sine wave within a cycle of a negative half cycle. So PIV is the negative part of your sinusoidal waveform. So in that case, then we obtain this PIV as a V, but if it is in negative form. So if minus Vm plus V equals to 0, okay, so approximately you will get V is equal to Vm. Then PIV should always greater than or equals to Vm, but preferably it is recommended keep your PIV higher than your Vm, as your Vm or minus Vm both are the same. Negative peak, as we assume that in a sinusoidal waveform the negative half and positive half amplitude is the same. So now the observation table for this experiment, when we do the experiment in a website, web-based experiment, web simulation, then these are ideal table where you could note it down your all the readings and calculate accordingly. So in left hand side all the parameters are declared for a half wave rectifier. First, input voltage Vm, which will be the peak of your input signal, which will be measured by a CRO, and the output voltage V0 also it will be measured by a CRO, and the output voltage VDC measured by multimeter. So that is why it is called VDC, because any multimeter in a DC mode, DC volt measurement, it can only display or measure the DC part of the signal component. So in this our particular wave simulation platform, maybe it could not be possible with a multimeter measurement. So in that case you have to calculate your DC by the given formula, and the output volt V average, which will be also calculated by the Vm and Vrms, and finally you have to find the ripple factor and calculate the efficiency of the rectifier for a certain load and a specific input voltage. Now the conclusions about the rectifier, which will be very important when you going to design any rectifier by your own. So the following minimum criteria of a diode to be maintained during a rectifier design. Let's see what it is. There will be so many criteria or specification is there when you do any advanced work with a diode, but for a rectifier at least you maintain this 5 specification or say criteria will be the higher than your requirement. Okay, So first one, the maximum forward current rating of a diode, which will be denoted by ID or IF, both are the same. And the peak inverse voltage of a diode, already I told you in the previous slide what is PIV, that should be also strictly maintained. And the maximum power dissipation, PD max, called PD max. So according to your PD max, you have to choose your load, or you can say vice versa. According to your load, you have to choose your PD max by a diode, for a certain diode. And junctional temperature, junctional operating temperature, called TZ, that is very important. It is dependent on the ambient temperature also. So if you have to maintain these TZ properties very carefully when you try to design a specific type of rectifier which will be in above the normal environmental condition. And fifth one, the maximum sustainable forward voltage drop, that is very important. All of you already aware about the VB, because the VB is fixed or specified by the manufacturer as per the diode properties. It is already constant. So apart from the VD, there is this specific, this parameters is also very important, because this VD or VF is the maximum voltage drop you can it can occur across the diode. So in this VD or VF, VV is already included. So it may be possible, suppose your VV is 0.7, but your VD will increase according to the V input by increasing the input voltage, or decreasing the load current, decreasing the load value, or increasing the load current. Your VD or VF will be increased from the specified VV voltage. So it should be also maintained very carefully for a diode in long term operation. So I suggest you, when you going to design any rectifier by your own, your first step will be go to the specific manufacturer website by which brand you should design your or should choose your diode. For example, suppose you want to make a rectifier with a Fairchild brand diode, then you go to this link and download a PDF where we will be get so many diodes from in a 400 series, that is called 1N 4001 to 1N 4007, and you will get this all specification, important specification inside this data sheet, and then start your design. So thank you all for the day. Now we will go to the video simulation part, web based simulation part, where you will get where you will see some real time simulation with a half wave rectifier. Thank you. So now students, this is the page, web page. I am talking about this page in my PPT, vlabs.iitkgp.ac.in/be/experiment6/index.html. I already mentioned this link in my PPT. From there you will just copy this link and paste in your browser, then you will go ready for the simulations. So let's do it. The simulation in this page, under this page, first you will find that two links is available. Both the links are same for the half wave rectifier, but the difference is this below one, at the below one link you will able to make your own circuit connection by your own. First we will do the first one. This is a simulation page. From here, at the instruction tab, you just place your cursor, mouse cursor, and you will find the instruction. You have to follow this instruction first. Said, as they said that the RL register and then click on button to start the experiment, and then click on sine wave, that means here, okay, and click on oscilloscope to see the output waveform as well as input waveform. If you click on dual mode, then you find at a time both the input and output waveform. In that case, channel 1 will show the input sine wave and channel 2 will show the output rectified output waveform. And then after, finally you have to calculate the ripple factor, as well as you already know the theoretical ripple factor is 1.21. You have to just verify that it will come to nearer to that or not. So let's start. First we will have to set our RL at 500 ohms, and now click on button, set your amplitude at 2 volt, frequency at say 500 Hz, that is the minimum most, and now click on sine wave. Sine wave is generated. Now you have to click on oscilloscope button, then you will see the output waveform is here. So if you now click on dual, you will have to set your volts per division at 0.5 time per division at 0.5 millisecond. Then we will have to see both the waveform and just separate those waveform by varying this position knob. Y position for channel 1, this is your input channel, channel 1, this is your output channel, channel 2, and then you will find the input or output both at a time. So now you will have to calculate. For your calculation, you have to read the Vm from the peak voltage. So this is your amplitude setted by signal generator at 2 volt, and yours, as at that time your volts per division setted at 1 volt per division for channel 1. This is your input for channel 1. So as it is a 1 volt per division, then the total peak to peak amplitude will be 1 2 3 4 volt peak to peak. So you have set the amplitude at 2 volts, so 4 volt peak to peak as well as is the fine, as far as it is fine. Now read the output waveform from channel 2. Channel 2 also set it at 1 volt per division, so that will be 1 and 2, that means 2 volt peak to peak, 2 volt Vm, 2 volt peak is there, 1 positive peak is there. As far as halfway waveform, when this positive peak has arrived in the anode side of the diode, it will pass through and available only the positive peak at the cathode side. This is your output from gate here. Okay, so now student, for doing this calculation, first we have to find our Vm from the output, from the input and output. So to specify the Vm, again, if you coincidence these two waveform overlapping to each other, then you will find your Vm, as it is a input of 2 volt peak to peak, then your Vm is 2 volt, and by this way from the function generator you will also confirm that your Vm is 2 volt peak. So after getting the Vm, you will have to do this calculation, Vrms and Vdc. Let's do it. Open a calculator and for the Vrms it's simply divided by 2. So note it down in any other paper. Your Vrms is 1 volt, and for Vdc you will have to divide your VM, that means 2 volt divided by pi. So after that you will get 0.6366. Then you will assume as a round figure of 0.637 volt as your VDC. Okay, so let's do the ripple factor. For finding the ripple factor, first you will have to calculate your VAC. So VAC is nothing but the RMS voltage of your ripple at the output. As a half wave rectifier, we already know that at the output we will get only the rippled output. So you will have to find this RMS value of this ripple, that is the VAC. So to find the VAC, what you have to do, you have to do this calculation, root over Vrms square minus VDC square. So let's do it. What are your Vrms? 1 volt square minus VDC square 0.637 square is root. Okay, so after doing that you will get 0.77086. so 0.77086 means you can say as a round of 0.771 volt is your VAC. Okay, now after finding the VAC, then we will find the ripple factor as well. For ripple factor, calculation of the ripple factor, you will do the division of VAC by VDC. So your VAC is 0.771, which will be divided by VDC 0.637. See, it's very much nearer about the theoretical one, 1.210. So approximately, more than approximately, your experiment is doing very successfully, done very successfully. So in this way we have done our first simulation experiment. Then we'll go to the next one, where the circuit will be drawn by our own. So as of in the first, you will have to do the same way. Place your mouse cursor at the instruction tab and find the instruction, and you have to follow the instruction as well. So first they have said that connect the L1 to L7, then L3 to L7, L4 to L5. Do it like way. First L1 to L7. So this is your L1 and this is your L7. So I think this is the CRO input terminal and this is your function generator terminal. So first you have to take your input signal directly in the CRO, and now L3 to L7, L3 to L7, connect your rectifier input at the function generator. Now L4 to L5, output to the load. Okay, one end of the load. And L5 to L8, L5 to L8, connect the output at the CRO. Now L12 to L6, L12 to L6, the ground path, you have to complete your ground path connecting to the other end of the load. And now L8 to L9, L8 to L9, okay, this is your L8, this is your L9, and click on one and then drag to that is the direction how you have to connect this. And number 2, check on the click connection. So click it here. The website says that your connection is right. Now set the load resistance. Set your load resistance suppose again at 500 ohms. Now click on button, I think, yes. After setting the resistance, you have to click on button, then click on the sine wave, and set the sine wave as well in the same manner at 2 volt, and set the frequency at 500 Hz. Set your oscilloscope at 0.5 per division. Okay, now click on the oscilloscope, you will get the output at channel 2. Let's see where it is by the instruction. Yes, channel 2 is your output, channel 1 is input. So now click on dual, you will get both the waveform at a time in the screen. Blue one is the input and the brown one is the output. Okay, you can make differentiate these two by varying this knob as well, as I do in the previous experiment. So now again you have to do this calculation in same manner. From this waveform we already find our VM, same 2 volt. So if you want, if you make your vary amplitude in different value from the function generator or signal source, and you will may do the calculation, same calculation. I will not repeating here because our VM is same 2 volt. So definitely after doing this calculation in the same way as I do is previous experiment, you will get the same ripple factor 1.210. so nothing worried about. So you have to do by your own, change your input voltage in any other value and do the experiment, or you can may change your frequency also. So how we will again I will to I like to show you how you measure your frequency. You see already your time per division set it at 0.5 volt, 0.5 millisecond per division. So in this graph you will already seen that from here to one peak to another peak you will have a distance of 4 division, and where your time base set it at 0.5 volt per division. So your total time period will be 0.5 into 4, then 2 millisecond. So if it is 2 millisecond, then open the calculator. So we'll do this frequency, find the frequency from this 2 millisecond of time period into (10 to the power -3) divided by 1. So this is your 2 millisecond, and into 10 to the power -3, and that will be divided from 1. You will get the 500 Hz. Okay, so as we say already set it our frequency at the function generator 500 Hz, that will prove. So in this way you will do all your rectifier, half wave rectifier related experiment and simulation from these websites, and then after doing this simulation you will go to the quiz section. Here a short quiz section, test your knowledge as well. Here 3 questions has been given, very simple questions, test your knowledge. For question number 1, what is the ripple factor of a half wave rectifier? We are already did our find our ripple factor from a half wave rectifier 1.21. Now question number 2 is the peak applied signal voltage is Vm. Then for a half wave rectifier circuit the PIV, peak inverse voltage of the diode should be. So remember the last slide in my presentation where I told you that PIV definitely should be greater than your VM, negative VM. So it will be so that your diode will sustain at the negative peak when the negative peak will arise at the anode side of the diode. So you choose your diode in this manner, so this definitely the diode should have a PIV of greater than your negative VM. So this will be your answer. Now the number 3, an ideal silicon diode is used in a half wave rectifier circuit with a peak input sinusoidal amplitude of 5 volt, where VM is equal to 5 volt and the VT is equal to 0.7 volt. So VT is nothing but here voltage threshold. You can assume that as a VB. So you have to find your average DC voltage, V average. Okay, so in that case our effective VM, actual effective VM will be the V input 5 volt minus VV or VT. So our V average or VDC, whatever you say, your VDC average DC voltage will be find by VM by pi. So find our actual VM. 5 volt is your input minus 0.7, 4.3. Now multiplied it by 1 by pi. Okay, then you will get 1.368. So you will take a round figure as a 1.37 volt. So select this option and submit. Then you will find all the three questions are checked as okay by the websites. So in this way you will have to complete this quiz part, and then at the last tab, reference tab, you will find the 2 link as a diode rectifier circuits node, how to find the node of diode rectifier circuits, and video lecture of a rectifier from their side. So up to this, for half wave rectifier I will finish it now. Thank you for all.